Yo! Welcome back to the show. Special episode today. We were supposed to have a guest, but that did not work out. So we are doing a YouTube Live right now, a simulcast YouTube Live, and recording a podcast. I think it's fun. I like doing YouTube Live stuff. If you don't follow along on YouTube yet, what are you waiting for? YouTube.com /BK Mullen, I think that's right. I'll put it into the description of the episode if you're listening on iTunes, which you should also be doing. Coming out soon on SoundCloud if iTunes is not your jam. And as always, on Spreaker, because I just can't help myself. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about some like background stuff, like some BK Mullen background stuff. Some let's call them deep cuts, if you will, because I do have hobbies. Now I know I've posted vlogs on YouTube before and stuff like that about sports stuff. I did the Sports Pod Live a few months ago, a month ago, something like that. And for some reason now YouTube Live is frozen. I don't know. Or the playback is frozen. Something's frozen. But in any case, so every once in a while I do talk about stuff that I do outside of podcasting and YouTubing and all that jazz. Every once in a while I do. So today, I thought I'd cover something sports related that's tough for some people to handle. We'll put it that way. It's tough for people to handle. Which is, if you are a fan of a team, wearing memorabilia and stuff like that, that is not of the team you are a fan of. All right? So, for instance, I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but I do wear other NFL team gear. And I will explain why. So, keep in mind, the Philadelphia Eagles are my number one team. Always. The NFL or whatever, it's just always going to be. It always has been. We had a rough patch in our relationship where I ditched them for I'd say half a season. No, a season. Because I was really disappointed. Excuse me, in the Chip Kelly stuff, but it actually turned out to be his last year, the year that he was fired. But I was having a rough time with it. You know, he was letting go of the players that I really, really admired, and the team was just going through so much failure. It was ridiculous. But anyway, so in that time is when I started to broaden my collection. And while I'm talking, I'm going to see if I can fix YouTube Live. Maybe I should switch it up to Facebook Live. So I decided a while ago, even before the Seahawks thing, that I wanted to delete uploads. Okay. So I wanted to have, because I love the NFL, because I do, at some point in my life, I want to have a hat and a jersey from each of the 32 teams in the NFL. That was my plan. So I figured at that point I might as well start with the Seahawks because that's what was going on in my life at the time. And all right, I just switched to Twitter Live, and we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that takes us. All right. So, yeah, I was doing my thing with the Seahawks at the time. I figured I might as well start with them. The other thing is, I basically wanted to build my collection. And for those of you watching on Twitter Live, hey, what's going on? We're talking about my hat collection. And the goal of having a hat and a jersey for each of the 32 teams. Despite the fact that I'm a full-blown Eagles fan, I really like the NFL in general. So that's the recap. And those listening to the podcast right now are probably losing their minds, waiting for me to get to a point. So anyway, so I figured I might as well start with the Seahawks, because one of the main things, as far as my plan was going, or formulated as far as getting a jersey and a hat for each team, was I would start with my favorites, so obviously I start with the Eagles. Before I got, my first, I'll call it extension hat into the other 32 teams, I already had 5 Eagles hats, I have 3 Eagles jerseys, that sort of shit. So I started off building the collection, 4 or 5 Eagles hats, and then straight to Seahawks. I love the color. I love that blue. I think their logo is really tight. The colors are really tight, especially how they fit it onto the helmet. It's one of those graphically designed things that just looks amazing. And one of the other things I realized when this was all going down and I decided to start my collection is they had changed the logo a little bit at that point. And they had also, I think this was the year after they changed their uniforms. They changed from like the very basic blue with, I think it had like the standard old school NFL striping on the sleeves. But they had just changed to the new crazy, it's hard to describe. But if you just Google Seahawks, or if you watch the NFL at all, then you already know what they look like. They look really dope. I went out, got myself a Seahawks hat, fit awesome, and I actually got it, I think, 2 days before their Super Bowl against the Patriots, where they lost that final play, Malcolm Butler, which was just crazy. It was crazy. But in any case, got the hat. I've kept it clean. It's a weird one, though, because I have some issues with sizes. So when it's a fitted hat, I'm a 7 3/4. No, 7 7/8. I'm 7 7/8. So almost an 8. But an 8 is just a little too loose. That sort of deal. And snapbacks I have a hard time with because, and I'll show you on the new hat that I just got because the new hat's a snapback. You have to wear it for a while at an angle that feels really tight before, it's gotta stretch a little bit. It's gotta stretch to fit the mold of your head, essentially. So I was having some of those problems with the Seahawks hat because it was a size smaller than what I usually wear because at the time my head was shaved. Like it was shaved, not bald, but like it was shaved down with a 1, basically. So as my hair grew out, the hat didn't fit anymore. Fuck me. Except for backwards for some reason. Anywho, so I started off with the Seahawks hat to extend my collection, and I've just been kind of chilling with that. Like, all right, eventually, yeah, I'll get, I'm up to 7 Eagles hats now, and I've got the Seahawks hat, and I just kind of chilled with that for a little while. Just, I'll get to building the collection when I get to building the collection, right? So in the meantime, I buy a couple of more like baseball cap, like trucker hat style hats because that's what I wear while I'm working. The one I'm wearing right now, which you can't see unless you're on Twitter Live, which, hello Twitter Live. It's just like your standard trucker hat. The logo on the front is for Bushkill Falls, which is in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. It has an awesome trail that you can go hike, and the one day we did go hiking on it, and I forgot to bring a hat with me. So we stopped in the gift shop, and I was like, yeah, I'll totally get a hat from this place. And trucker hats, for some reason, usually sit like up high on my head. But this one, which has got like the belt, or no, it's got the Velcro strap in the back, fits my head perfectly. Like, it's one of the comfiest, it's probably the comfiest trucker hat I've ever had. But this is this is the style that I wear to work. Every once in a while, I'll wear my New Era Eagles hats to work, but not always. So I slowly started to build up. I went from since I got the Seahawks hat, I went from like 9 hats to 19 hats. Like, I bought a couple, trucker hats for work, and I got handed a couple. I am into baking to a certain extent. I like baking. And my dad, who's also really into baking, which that podcast will be coming back soon, Dad's in the Kitchen. You'll be able to check that out on iTunes. We're very particular about our brand of flour, although I'm not 100% sure why, and maybe that's something we'll talk about on the next episode of that podcast, but we really like King Arthur flour as the brand, and one of the reasons that I double like the King Arthur brand is their logo, and I just, it's one of those graphic design things. It's such a balanced. Some companies have trouble with that for some reason. Like, I don't know, they're trying weird things. I don't know. That's for a graphic design podcast. But anyway, I really like the design, and I also they make gluten-free flours and stuff like that, which is important for my wifey because she's got to stay away from gluten. So I got handed my parents handed me a King Arthur flour hat, which is also super comfy, although, like the most trucker hats, it sits a little high. So I was sitting at, including other hats, so I got New Era hats, which are like my primos, the ones that I take care of for sure. I've got about 10 trucker hats, and then I've got a Jeff cap, like a little cabbie golfer cap thing, and I've got a top hat which needs to be blocked. I have to get that fixed. So I took a count the other day because I was in the bedroom, didn't have anything to do really because I had the flu. So I counted through the hats and I was at 21 hats. And I'm like, all right, next time I buy a hat, it's got to add to the NFL collection. It's got to be New Era. It's got to add to the collection. And I found my old list. I actually made a list when I first decided to get 32 hats, one for each team. I actually made a list of like a ranking. Like, I ranked all the ones that I definitely wanted to get. And this one that I found and ended up having a coupon for, because I do the membership thing at Lids, which is where I usually get my hats. I actually found a coupon for it, and I found this one. I don't think it was on sale, but it ended up being a good deal. It is a snapback, so it fits kind of weird. If you follow along on Twitter, Facebook, or anything like that, you've already seen a picture of it. Instagram, Twitter, at @BKMullen_. Facebook.com/BKMBlogs, which might be changing soon. I don't know. But anyway, here's the reveal for those of you on Twitter Live. It is a New Era, what do you call it? 950 snapback throwback Denver Broncos hat. So it is the throwback blue. It's the lighter blue. It's not the darker blue that they currently wear. And it's got the old school Broncos symbol, the old school logo that used to be on the helmets and is actually now on the Color Rush helmets, which is the big orange letter D, and then it's got a horse rearing up in there, blowing steam out its nose because it's, aggressive. This is a good one. As far as it's basic, but the composure of it, like. So here's something that may seem weird to some people. I don't just get the hats because I think they generally look good. Or only because I want them in my collection, that sort of thing. It is an art form in its own way. Designing a hat building the structure of it and having it look good, just in general. The way, and I'm not just talking about like, okay, which logo do you use? Do you put it on the side, on the front, that sort of thing? But it's also the stitching, the embroidery of the logo itself. Which I'm hold it up to the camera here. The embroidery on the logo itself is just, it's weird because when you look at it up close, it doesn't feel incredibly detailed, but it is very well done. It's very, professionally done. It's very tight. It's finished very well. And then as you pull it back, it's almost like it's slightly blurry on purpose so that when you look at it from a distance, it looks perfect. It looks really, really clean. And of course, that the orange and white logo with the white trim on the this blue. I guess you would call it a royal blue. And then you've got matching orange New Era logo. It is a snapback, so it's a 950, and I do keep the stickers on. I am a sticker person. There are a few of my hats that no longer have the stickers because they've either aged off or my daughter has pulled them off. It is what it is. But now, to clarify, for anybody wondering, no, I am not a Denver Broncos fan. I'm adding to the collection. It's a good fitting hat. Again, like I said earlier, it is a snapback, so I have to wear it in sort of an uncomfortable position, which is like down around my brows, which feels really tight right now. But if I wear it like this for like a day and just sort of suffer through it, then the sides will stretch out a bit and really form to the head. So this is my hat drop today. This week. Maybe that's what I'll make it. I'll just do a hat drop episode every once in a while when I get a new hat. Or maybe I should just start a series of hats. Because honestly, I think this is number 23 now. 23 hats. That's 23 episodes right there. 23 episodes of hats. I'll go through each one. And I think it looks good on me, too. I like that blue a lot. Yeah. I'll think about that. But in any case, this is going to wrap up this brief episode. I don't even know what to call it. We'll call it the hat trick or something like that. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed it to some extent. I will probably try to post this on YouTube as a YouTube thing, or maybe I will just do a separate video instead of trying to save it from Periscope. We'll see. But in any case, yeah, that's one of my hobbies. That's one of my things. That's something that I'm down with. We started a new website. Started a new website for you guys to check out where all of our artsy stuff happens. Excuse me. 9732productions.com is where you'll find links to all of our podcasts and all of our affiliates and all of our projects that we got going on, whether it's podcasts or blogging or short films, that sort of thing. The short film part of it is probably not going to roll out for a while. We're still working on that. We're in the early stages of that portion of our business. But Lazy Banana Podcasts is the podcast network that you currently listen to, and Lazy Banana Podcast is now part of 9732 Productions, which is my new production company. Go check it out. Go check out the website. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. What else? Oh, I've got something special coming up. I'm not going to talk about it yet. Here's the thing. Here's the nice thing. It's like, over the past 3 months, so like it's the beginning of the year thing when everybody's like, new year, new me, going to the gym, that sort of thing. everybody comes up with, gonna go to the gym, gonna change my body, gonna, take better care of myself, that sort of bullshit. And then it fades out, right? The first 3 months of every year is basically my most creative months as far as, okay, new year, what am I going to do with the business, right? What am I going to do to push this further? I've already rebranded a podcast. I've locked down some awesome interviews for that podcast, which are coming soon, which is the one that you're listening to now. And I've rebranded my production company, started a new website for that, brought more people in to work with, to produce things with. It's that time of year for me. This is what happens for me. I don't go to the gym and hustle for 2 weeks and then just abandon it and just go eat Cheetos. I do that, but I do that like once a month. I do that once a month, and it's not Cheetos, it's donuts, because I fucking love donuts. But in any case, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for sticking with me for this episode. I appreciate it. We might turn this into a different thing. Maybe it'll just be a YouTube thing. I don't know. But if you like hats, if you're down with the new era, hit me up. Tweets on the Instagrams at bkmullen_, facebook.com/bkmblogs. I will see you later. Peace.